94833. It's a light wire standard shank dry fly hook. I use the light wire because it floats better. This is a size 12 because I'm using, they're officially ant bodies, but they're just foam bodies. We start with white. I'll go over how to change color in a minute. And the thread I'm using is a rod wrapping thread. It's size A, canary yellow, I think is the name of it. But it's a bright yellow. And the reason I use yellow is because I can see it. The materials are thread, foam, and rubber legs.
What size foam are we talking about?
This foam, I get it from Jan's Netcraft, and it's a type 3 foam. It's actually called an ant body, and I buy them in white. However, what I do is I change the color with a magic marker, and I'll go over how to do that in another step in just a minute.
Okay.
And I do them all 25 at once. I buy these things by the 2 and 3 and 400 at a time when I buy them. I share. Okay, so I suppose what we can do before we get started on the tying, let me show you how to change a color. You want a waterproof indelible ink. And this one right here is a Prismacolor. I don't use, what's the other one that we sometimes use? Sharpies. I don't use Sharpies because they bleed. This one is canary yellow. It has a sharp, wide, broad end and a sharp point end. What I'm going to use is the broad end. And I'm going to color some bodies. Now, here's the trick. You ready for the trick? Here we go. Squish, 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 squish. And you just put it down in there and you just keep swishing it around, and everybody in there will turn one color with no problems. And if you miss a few, it goes into the bag, and until you open the bag, it's all wet. So the ink is rather uniform, and it's, you know, you can have your grandkids do it if you want to. Anybody in the house is capable of doing this. If you have trimmers, it'd probably help even better. Because I guarantee you that you won't make a mess as long as you keep it in the bag. Now notice the color is almost uniform. And I'm almost ready to put this bag aside and let it do its thing. And I leave it in the bag. All the ink is not on my fingers, which I used to do when I do them one at a time. I would wind up with yellow fingers and yellow knuckles. And it just wasn't all that entertaining. Okay, now, the bodies are now bright yellow.
Very good.
If you don't like the saturation, close them down, put them aside for later. Again, these have already been dried, so they're ready to go. I'm going to pass out. I'm going to take one body and we'll pass them out. Oh, you got bodies.
Got
Okay, you good to go?
Thank you.
Rob?
Good.
All right. So I tied these with the pointy end to the rear. So first thing we're going to do is put the thread on the hook. And the thread on the hook, I'm going to cover the entire shank of the hook with thread. And of course, take a good scissors, give it a little nip, and you're done. The entire shank is covered, but I'm not going to start tying on the body of the shank. The body of the shank is actually going to be tied in at the point. You can see my scissors are pointed to the point and how I'll get my thread hanging directly over the end of the point of the hook. What's going to happen, now here's the fun part about measuring. I measure by putting my scissors at the end of the hook on the eye, put my thread, my foam just barely touching, and then I'm measured. I'm perfectly measured, right like that.
Wait, I'm on the back side here.
You see here?
Yeah?
All I did is I put my foam and touched my scissors. I'm done. I'm perfectly measured. Then the trick to keep from cutting your foam is 1, 2, then tighten, then 2, 3, 4. Then to keep your thread from spinning, lift it up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And another couple of things here. And notice your body is now locked in place.
I'm on the back side of this thing.
Are you?
I mean, I can't see what the heck you're
Okay,
doing.
we'll go over it again.
Of course, I've already lost my thread.
That's okay. All right. These legs are not really fly tie material, guys. These are silicone bass skirts, and these are barred silicone bass skirts. You can get a whole bag of this. $2. Are they up to $2 now?
Like
$2.95.
$2.95 now,
Yeah,
still
I
I
$3.
just bought some.
You can probably get them out of a bin at Best Pro. And
Yeah, for a buck when you can find
Yeah.
them. But there's a ton of them in here, an absolute ton. And how many legs are we going to use for a spider? Well, spiders typically have 8 legs and fish can't count. So I'm going to take 2 legs, that's all I got is 2, fold it in half, cut, save two of them for a second, and then these legs that I just cut, I'm going to put them on the opposite side away from me, and just put them on, just lay them up there and do a wrap, soft wrap, 2 legs. Then I'm going to keep my finger in place and do the same thing on the side close to me. The reason I do the side farthest away from me first is because I find it the hardest to do. So if I do it first, I don't have to worry about it. Now notice my legs are splayed every which way, but that's okay because I haven't put any glue or anything on there, so you can actually move the legs around a little bit. So now I've got a grand total of 8 legs, 4 on one side, 4 on the other. I know I went through that rather quickly, but the bottom line is all you're doing is you're taking and curling the thread through the legs and bending them through by using the
I have
foam.
no idea what you're doing. 'Cause I
Okay,
can't see.
we will go over it after we get done here. All right, now, this is another part that I kind of discovered accidentally. Take the thread all the way up to the eye of the hook, right behind the eye of the hook, push the foam down, hold it in place, soft wrap 2 times, snug it up, 1, 2, 3. Now, notice that you've got a little bitty tiny popper head here. Your eye's here, your foam is up above it. Now, your knot tying tool. Everybody knows how to use their knot tying tool. Ready? This is a knot tying tool. No, it is not a cross pin. No, I did not pick it out of the trash. Well, yeah, I did. I did. It didn't work. 1, 2, put it up there and slide it off and tied. 1, 2, slide it off and tied. And notice, well, I wasn't supposed to cut it, by the way. Notice that the spider is just about done. I'm going to take and pull the legs down just a little bit. You don't want the legs to extend past the level of the body. When it hits the water, the legs are going to fall into the water anyway. So you want them just slightly elevated from the level of the hook. And then you put some glue on it, and you set it aside, and it is ready to fish. And we're good.
Easy peasy.
Oh, did you want a close-up of that? Are you good?
We got pretty good, yeah, we got a pretty good one.
Okay, good deal.
Good, okay.
All right, so let's do that again slowly. You ready, Mary Kay?
Yep,
You got your thread on your hook?
yep.
All right, you're halfway there.
Now
And I went-
you
and I
gotta
went
tilt that this way.
I want slow.
Tilt it this way. So I can see what the
Okay,
heck you're doing.
Buck, one light is pause, right?
Yep.
Okay, got that on
And it
pause.
should say it on the
Okay.
right-hand side. Doesn't say REC, does it?
Doesn't see, long record. Got it says long record.
As long as we don't have a counter going. All right, so see where my thread is? Right in front of the point.
Okay. The blunt